morning, everyone. First of all, I convey my regards to HOD Professor Nirmalya for inviting me here, and the other faculty members from Department of IT Tripura University for giving me a chance to share few of my ideas in cyber security. I hope last few minutes you have observed one particular phenomenon, that when we are in cyber world, how exactly we are dealing with the ecosystem. Because we are right now living in a very heterogeneous kind of things, where we have physical world, we have virtual worlds. How exactly we are going to mitigate with these two worlds? What kind of issues we might present? As you can see that already for last few minutes we try to connect my MacBook with this particular screen, but we are unable to do so. The same kind of issues it persists, it prevails in so many different areas when we are residing in the virtual world. So in this virtual world, how exactly we can go to the particular destination, how exactly we are walking, running to this particular field. Obviously, obstacles are there and we have to mitigate our way out to the destination. So, why today is important? Because in the month of October, it has already been decided as a cyber security awareness month globally. And throughout this particular month, there are lots of awareness sessions are going on in cyber security. Now, why exactly cyber security? Because the term cyber, it's very much, you can say, attached with our day-to-day life. Because just you observe from your personal experience, morning when we wake up, the first thing what we are doing is we are just seeing the screen of our smartphone, whether any kind of notification came, any alarm, any kind of messages. So that means starting of our day to the end, we are very much attached. Now, if we shut down internet for 2 hours, I don't know how exactly you are going to respond. It's something like if you take up a fish from the water, the situation, it will happen to the water. The same thing, to the fish, the same thing it will happen to us also. If you are disconnected from this connected world. So the question is, if we are that much attached to this particular connected world, how exactly we are going to secure ourselves? How exactly we are going to find out how exactly we are going to navigate throughout these particular times? So, what we thought that today I will just touch upon few of the things, because all the things it is not possible. So, what I initially thought that we will discuss about few remedies, but then again it came to mind that there are so many different campaigns are going on nowadays. If you open any particular virtual media, any particular social media, you will find so many different kind of preventive measures, awareness campaigns are going on. So what I initially thought that I will just touch upon few of the very important parts and the overall global scenarios in terms of our own country also, that how we should consider it very seriously. Now, let us set our foothold from the very basic fundamentals. Because whenever we are talking about security, because there are two terms and two separate terms. One is cyber, another one is security. So, if we think that cyber, that means we are in the connected world. But there, whenever we are trying to attack security, then the concept is totally changed. And fundamentally, if you think, if you are in the connected world, security is kind of illusion. There is no practical kind of security. Though we are using so many different measures, we are using so many costly devices and all, but this is up to a certain particular point. There is no permanent solution. It's always a relative. Cyber security, this is a very relative term. It's not an absolute term. So if you are connected, then there is no issues of those particular security. It is all about the feeling. If you feel that I am secure, fine, you are secure. There is nothing that you can prove I am truly secure. It's not physical, it is not possible at all. And And this particular wordings, it is from one of the pioneer professor who has given this particular fundamental definition of this cyber security. So if we think about security, as already I have mentioned, there is nothing like absolute security. So if it is a relative security, the question is how exactly you are going to measure this relativity. I hope you have this particular grading. Like there are absolute gradings, there are relative gradings, like your CGPA and all. So if you follow absolute grading, there is certain particular milestones. That if it is 90 to 100, then one particular grading, 80 to 90, one particular grading. But if it is not absolute, if it is relative, how you are going to make that particular threshold? So this is where it comes about all those policies, all those rules, regulations, all those frameworks and all to entertain that particular threshold. I'm just trying to attach few of the present scenarios. If you open newspapers, if you go through any particular portal, you might be seeing so many different kind of reports that any particular data breach happen, any particular cyber attack happen here and there, the particular company, they lost their data. So day by day this is increasing. I have just pointed out few of those particular resources here. Very recently, what are the things that has been happening in the virtual world. There you can find so many different kind of data breaches, so many different kind of data leaks are there, cyber attacks are there which is happening. So I'm not going to bombard with information about all those particular things. I'm just setting the state that at present the kind of attack, the kind of targeted space, it's growing day by day and it's increasing multiple. So in this particular scenario, as a normal user, how exactly we can save ourselves? And not only that, as already we are in a technological field, so at certain point of time we have to contribute there. So whenever we are going to contribute there, how we can safeguard this particular cyberspace? So at least we should have some basic awareness about the total scenarios. This is again just few of the clips which I have collected from so many different newspapers. And believe me, like that, every day at least 2 to 3 kind of news you will get in the news portals. I'm just taking few of the screenshots. Like cyber security is there. There are so many different kind of prevention measures are also there. I don't know how many of you heard about certain measures like cryptography, like public key securities and all those things. But again, as I mentioned earlier, these are relative. So again, those particular security measures also, they are constantly attacked and they are breaking. So it's kind of a cat and mouse kind of scenarios, like Tom and Jerry. So one is always running, another one is always behind. There is no particular stop. And in fact, present day it's more difficult due to that particular term of AI, because we are feeling little bit intellectual when we say this particular term, machine learning, deep learning, AI, generative AI, and all those things. And it actually makes our life even more difficult, specifically for the cyber security researchers, because there is no end, you can say, whenever we attach AI to the cyber security. I'm just giving one particular information. Right hand side, if you see new AI listing, I don't know how many of you heard about this. Just a few months back, this particular news came that the particular system is always losing. Let me just give you one basic example. Nowadays, very recently, if you purchase any particular laptop, okay, you will find one feature they are very proudly pushing, that they have provided a camera shutter. I don't know, very recently if you purchase, you will see that there is a shutter, okay. In the laptops, camera is there, the shutter such that you can close this particular camera. And they are very much boosting all the companies that this is a feature. Now my basic question is, why it should be a feature? You have put a camera, fine. Why camera is there? Because if we do some sort of video conferencing, if we do some sort of video chat, then only camera is required. So then automatically it will be activated. Then why this particular shutter? Because the companies that doesn't believe themselves that they are able to do any kind of security measures to stop, to prevent some mischievous activities involving this particular camera. So they are doing a awareness and they are boosting this as a feature. So what are the main proofs that the companies that doesn't believe their own system, that they can make this particular device secure so that nobody can access this particular camera itself. So this is just one single example. Like that, you never know that your machine, your companion, the smartphones and all, how many ways it is listening, how many ways it is seeing your day-to-day things. Just around 4 months back, one particular research paper it was published, and again it's going to change the entire scenario of warfare and all. 3 researchers from China itself, what they did is simply using Wi-Fi signals, they can identify in a particular room how many living objects are there, if certain men, certain animals, certain other particular living objects are there, their movement, everything they can find it out with a shape. And this is simply by using the Wi-Fi signal. So just imagine that at present day, whether we are invincible, whether we are secure. So that's the very reason at the very beginning when I mentioned that security is kind of a illusion. It's simply about the mental state. Again, these are few of other particular, you can say, reports. Q1 of 2024 that India is one of the nation where the cyber crime is increasing, targeting the cyber attacks and all. In fact, education sectors, this is again one of the prime concerns. Why? Because in education sectors, the budgetary provisions are very low. The kind of measures, it's very less. The policy employment or policy enforcement is not very rigorous. So that's the reason why so many different universities constantly they are there. In fact, I can cite my own example. In my particular institution, few months back, we have one particular system of IDP by which we can access our library resources, all the journals and all those things. Just a few months back, it comes under the cyber attack, and for almost 10 days it was done. Certain hacker group, though we have not identified this, but they captured the whole system. So it's a very common phenomenon. Not only about our institution, in most of the NITs, IITs, they face the similar kind of scenarios. The thing is that why does it matter today? As you can see, the whole world is going more digital. After this particular session, if you just go to any particular tea stall or any particular gathering, you will observe that most of the time, smartphone in our hand, because we are going more digital. The physical interactions are getting more and more less. So as the whole system is going more digital, obviously we prefer the things digitally. In fact, just go through a simple experimentation from your home. Okay, if your friend's birthday is there, if you want to wish, how many of you do it physically and how many of you do it virtually? The first thing what we did is, in the morning, we'll just send a WhatsApp message or we'll send a message in the social media. How many of you give a call to that particular person? So this is the behavioral science, the way we are moving towards digitally. So this is one of the major concerns why things are going digitally and it's creating so many different kind of issues. Obviously, crime is also going from real world to virtual world. And why you should care? Why it is happening? It's already established. The thing is that why you should care? You might think that I don't have anything to hide. Fine, I have shared few of the photos in social media. Why should I care? What will happen to me? But at present, there are so many things happening in the virtual world. You can't imagine that those particular data, how many ways it can be misinterpreted, misutilized. And in so many different countries, these are legalized business model about the data. Nowadays, you can say data is the new oil. During Industrial Revolution, everybody given the term that oil is the new currency. And at present, you will find data is the new currency. So why? Because if you have data, you can do anything. I'll just show you some of the particular scenarios, how exactly data can be misutilized, how it can be abused. Now again, another important part is also there whenever we talk about data. I don't know how many of you are aware about that, but specifically we Indians are very much less aware about the privacy. We didn't bother at all about privacy. If you go to any particular shopping malls, somebody approach, there is a lucky draw coupon is happening. You please provide your details, your phone number, your email address and all, and we feel proud that okay, give those particular email address, phone numbers. Might be I will be a lucky winner. But have you ever thought this particular phone number, how many ways it can be misutilized? What exactly they are doing with this particular phone number? What exactly they are doing with this particular data? So we have to understand what are the PIIs. PIIs means which can identify you. Whatever the data is directly associated with you. So there are again entire particular research domains are there related with PII, how we can secure that PII data. Personally identifiable information. Obviously, few of the things you might be aware that what kind of threats are there. Phishing, smishing, phishing. This is one kind of a threat. Business email compromise, social engineering scam, common malware, ransomware. So these are just few of those particular terms which can utilize for any kind of a attack scenarios. Now it doesn't mean that as a commoner we are not getting this kind of a attacks. It might be targeted to anyone. Fake websites, nowadays the concept of deepfakes and all those, these are in fact very crucial. So we have seen that how exactly it matters, why you should take care of your PII data and what are the different ways it can be targeted to you. These are certain of the attack vectors, attack scenarios. I am not going in details about those. Just let's see. One, if you just targeted it with platform-based attacks. Okay. So in platform-based attacks, if you see, there are web applications, there are mobile applications, there are other particular device-specific applications are there where exactly it is targeting to those. ATP attacks kind of things are there, then hacking, DOS, DDoS, those kind of attacks are there. Now what exactly is DOS? This is known as denial of service. Now, if you are a legitimate user, okay, and you are unable to access that particular data, then what will happen? Ultimately, it's a loss. So, if it is a loss, then it is business loss. And if it is a business loss, this is coming under the cyber attack scenarios. So, again, if you see about sensitive information leakage, there are so many data losses, data preventions are there. There are very famous examples are there. All of you know about Yahoo. Entire Yahoo database. Moreover, 3 billions of user data. At a certain point of time, the whole data it was leaked. There are restricted websites up there. There are dark nets are available where those particular data easily you can get. In fact, not only about that, there are legalized markets are also there. Your basic PII information, your name, your photo, your email address, your phone number, this PII data is selling around $3 to $4, and they are legalized businesses out there. Suppose that today you think that you will write a book, okay? So you have written the whole book. Then there is a front page, front cover. So in the front cover, obviously, we try to do some sort of graphics. Some pictures we are inserting. The question is where you are going to get these pictures. I don't know if you have heard about this. There are certain websites out there like Shutterstocks and those. What you have to do is you have to go to those websites. You have to purchase. It's not like that. It's freely available. You have to purchase. The question is from where they are getting those. As I already mentioned, there are legalized markets out there. They are collecting all those and then they are selling this particular data. So like that, so many examples are there where data can be abused very frequently. Then there are frauds out there, social media frauds and all. One very open problems are there. In fact, till today, there are lots of wars going on. For example, after this session, if you are getting a Facebook friend request where it is mentioning Nirmalya, how exactly you are going to identify that it's directly comes from me? Is there any mechanism present today? When you are receiving this particular friend request, how exactly you are going to ensure that it is coming from the legitimate verified users? Though few of the platforms have started, like for example, earlier Twitter, now X, they have started this verified programs. But again, there are certain limitations are also there. So whenever we are there in the social media, how exactly we are going to believe? Someone is claiming that person. How exactly you are going to verify? So like that, so many different kind of frauds are also present. So we have to be aware about those kind of things. Due to that, already there are rapid shifts going on in the whole industry. And as per NESCA, by 2030, we require more than 5 million workforce in cyber security. There is a very huge gap is here based on the proper skill set. So that's the reason the academics here, they are taking very seriously about this particular cyber security skill sets. And this is again one of the reasons why this kind of a awareness session is going on. Because at least out of those particular sessions, you are interested, you are coming out and joining this particular cyber security courses, then it's going to be at least valuable to the whole industry. How many heard about this DPDP Act? Have you heard about DPDP Act? Whenever we talk about cyber security, one is policy and another one is governance. Government of India, they have come up with IT Act around 2018. After that 2020, there is certain modifications and afterwards they are very serious about the privacy of that particular data. So for privacy, again they have come up with DPDP Act, and in 2023 finally it was adopted. It was come as a law passed by the Parliament. So what exactly is DPDP? This is again nothing but digital personal data protection. That's the reason initially I mentioned about PII data. Have you ever thought that whenever you are uploading your data, what will happen to your data? All of us, we are using Google Drive, right? We are storing our data in the Google Drive. If tomorrow Google Drive, they are telling that no, I won't give you access, what you will do? Have you ever thought of them? There are cloud services available, Dropbox, iCloud, so many different cloud services. We are uploading our important information there, important data there. Next day, if they are telling them no, we won't provide services in India, what will happen to your data? So it doesn't have any local value. That is one of the fundamental reasons why this particular act is came up. In the act, they have very specifically mentioned that data localization. What exactly is data localization? Whenever you are uploading some data, the companies, they must build data centers, data warehouses within the physical boundary of India. Few locations within India itself. You cannot upload in somewhere else. What benefit it's going to get? If it is within the geographical jurisdictions of our country, then our law is going to prevail there. One of the best example is, I don't know how many of you observed this, just last month it happened. All of you might know about this recent international, what you can say, tag of war is going on in between USA and India in terms of this trade, tariffs and all this. Okay, so already US President Trump, he has announced 20%, 50% tariffs in so many different kind of exports and imports kind of a scenario. And due to this Russian oils and all those things. Now, what happened is, one particular Russian oil refinery is here, and their Indian subsidiary, Narana, I forgot about the full name of that particular refinery. One fine morning, Microsoft, they cut their entire services to this Indian refinery located in Gujarat. Mainly in Gujarat, but they have so many different offices. And their entire operation is based on Microsoft technologies. For authentication, they are using Active Directory. For any kind of email services, they are using this Microsoft Azure services and Microsoft 365 and all those things. So one fine morning, Microsoft, they disconnect. Companies is unable to communicate with anyone. They are unable to maintain the machinery is running because it is running via some particular software based on Microsoft technologies. There is a huge loss. Now, what is the reason they mentioned? They mentioned that EU has put a sanction in India, tariff sanction. So they have disconnected this. Immediately, Government of India intervened, and that particular oil refinery they went to High Court of Delhi also. And within 4 hours, they are bound to do restoration of that particular service. But this is just a glimpse. Think about it. Tomorrow, if all Google, Microsoft, they stop, what will happen? What will happen to you? Your email communication is gone. Your entire particular storage is gone. How exactly we are going to survive? Your all financial things will be gone. So this is why the Government of India, they come up with this particular act, especially known as DPDP Act, which ensures about the critical infrastructure vulnerabilities as well as maintaining of the Indian sovereignty in the IT space. rules and regulation of this Tripura Cyber Security Policy 2025. Hopefully, when the final version it is going to be adopted as a policy, here also we are going to find that there are robust measures in terms of critical infrastructures, in terms of cyber hygiene, in terms of cyber utilization within the state boundaries. Now at present, already I have mentioned that we are in a big triangle that day by day things are getting complex. So what we should consider? So I am just taking a certain report which is published last month under Digital India. If you see Cyberstrong, there are AI and advanced threats are there, because once AI incorporated in the cyber security, the whole game will change. There are certain particular preventive hardwares are available known as firewall, which protects the entire network from some malicious network activities. So at present, the firewall replaced by UTM, Unified Threat Model and Machine Prop. So they have incorporated AI in terms of policies. So how exactly the vulnerabilities can be detected, how exactly we can prevent any kind of a misuse, any kind of a malicious attack to this particular network. So similarly, there are infrastructural threats are available, there are financial identifiable threats are available, mobile device threats are available. So how exactly we are going to ascertain those particular aspects? Just very recent data I am showing. If you follow it up, ransomware. This is again another very crucial attack which is happening. So this is just one particular analysis of ransomware as well as malware. So this is incidents and detection. If you see about the ransomware incidents and their detection scenarios, you will find a huge gap, because there are so many things are happening which are not reported properly. They are not followed to that particular line. So this is also again another very crucial. So that is the reason Government of India, they are taking very seriously, and they have instructed all their offices, all their educational institutes like CFTIs, central universities and all, that they have to make sure that their entire IT infrastructure is must be secure, and they have to come out cyber management plan. If things are happening in other way, how you can mitigate, how you can come out from that particular assets. So that's the reason this is very, very crucial. And these are some of the most abused platforms. I hope we are using any one of them: Google Drive, Dropbox, OneDrive, Box, Microsoft Teams, Google Cloud. So almost maximum services we are using, which comes to the attack of those particular cyber incidents. And what are the top malicious files are there? exe files, .scr files, docs, PDFs, then zip, RAR, HTML, ISO files. So these APK files, these are certain particular file types which it has been found out that mostly carry the trojans, mostly carry the malwares, which can infect the entire particular devices or their particular ecosystems. This is a very recent data, just it was published this month itself, that this APK malware, why they are considering this APK? Because it has been seen that most of the cases, either it's Android. If you compare the entire smartphone scenarios in our country, mostly it's about Android rather than iOS. So in Android, sharing the particular files, it's based on APKs and all. So how exactly we are going to take care of those particular scenarios. If you just observe, you will see there are certain criticalities also mentioned. For the APK kind of things, the criticality is very high, and it's targeted mainly the Android devices. If you think about malicious Android malwares for government websites and all, there also it is high. Then fake apps. There are so many different fake apps are available. How you know that this is a valid app or not? If you just simply Google it today, you will find that Play Store and App Store, they have removed so many malicious applications from their particular store. Millions of applications they have removed due to security issues. Nowadays, this is again one of the challenges. You will find ChatGPT. Everywhere ChatGPT, there are n number of applications are there in the name of ChatGPT. How to find out which one is valid? Because whenever you are giving some sort of data to the ChatGPT, how exactly it's going to secure that particular data? So this is also again another particular concern. Now what I am trying to show you here, certain particular sophisticated incidents which is happening. Probably if you follow our Honorable Prime Minister's Man Ki Baat, he has mentioned about digital arrest. If you heard about this particular term, okay. So in digital arrest, so what's happening? You are getting a particular call. Somebody from the other end will claim that he or she is from certain particular police station. You have violated something. You have to report there, and obviously you will be paying. So as a remedy, they will say that okay, it will be on hold, but you give some sort of fines. So like that, so many different kind of scams are going on. In certain cases, you might get a call or you might get a message or a mail that you have sent a parcel to some outside country and customs. They have found out certain particular restricted items there. So like that, so many things are happening. Now this is one AI-based investment scam. I don't know if you have received or not. In social media specifically, it has started a few months back, where they are showing the photo of Mukesh Ambani, photos of Virat Kohli and some other big celebrities, and they are Amitabh Bachchan and all. They are showing that they have invested in certain particular Ponzi schemes and they have generated so much of wealth. And obviously, it's totally deepfake generated, and it's so much reliable in terms of look and feel that obviously, as a general person, will be inclined to those particular targeted attacks and all. So this is one sophisticated attack nowadays. It's going on, AI-based investment scam. Then fake customer support. Fake customer support. Recently, I don't know if you have received. So many incidents are going on that one message is coming or telephone calls is coming, mentioning that your payment in the PACCL or TGCL Tripura gate, your payment, it has been stuck. It cannot happen. So you have to come up and you have to pay the bill, or I am sending a QR code, you pay the bill. So your earlier payment due to server issue, it didn't happen. So this is also again another particular scheme which involves the generative AI, because the particular look and feel, the local dialect, everything it is same as for the particular geographical locations. This is again another one, family emergency. I don't know if you have received or not. the same kind of incident it happened to our institute also. From our particular authority, we have received certain emails, and it was a valid email. In fact, from director or registrar email ID we have received. And when we receive these emails, it's the center is director@meter.ac.in, and it's telling that right now I am outside, but I encounter certain issues. If you can lend up certain amount. So think about it. If you are getting this particular message from your known person, from your loved one, what do you do? And it's a verifiable source. Verifiable source in the sense, suppose you already know the email ID of your friend, and at night you are receiving an email from that particular friend, from that particular handle that he needs certain money. What you are going to do? So this is again another particular scheme is going on nowadays, where it involves the AI. So due to all those particular incidents, NIT, this is National Institute of Standards, they have come up with a new framework. Earlier NIT frameworks are there, but couple of months back they have come up with version 2.0, where they try to give us a policy scenario which will address and which will try to resolve all those kind of a scenario. Then how exactly you are going to govern, how exactly you are going to identify, how exactly you are going to mitigate, how exactly you are going to respond, direct, and all those particular issues. And not only about NIT, there are again certain AI related security measures also they have provided. How AI can shape up. Now I will just show you one particular example. This is, I don't know whether you heard about this news or not. Yesterday it came on. All of you know about ChatGPT, right? And they have introduced ChatGPT Go, one particular service specifically for India, where you can do subscription, low cost subscription. It's near about 300 something per month. Okay? If from academia we are using ChatGPT, either ChatGPT or Gemini or Copilot, Grok, those particular big LLMs. Now, whenever we are giving certain particular instruction to them, what will happen? You might have heard about perplexity. If you have Airtel connection, then already perplexity they have certain particular agreement with Airtel that you will get 1 year complete package from perplexity. You can utilize without any restrictions and all. Now due to that, in fact, OpenAI also they have come up with similar kind of things, but they are not restricting to only Airtel users and all. Whole 1 year they are going to give it free to the entire citizens of India, and it is starting from November 4th, this coming month. What are the implications? Have you ever thought? Whenever we are giving input to those ChatGPT or those particular LLMs, what about the data security? What about the data privacy? Because they are taking lots of data, using those particular data, they are defining their particular model, such that they can give you more proper idea, more proper answers. But what about the biasness? Because there are technological biasness up there are ideological biasness up there, which is already present in the technology itself. That's the reason, day before yesterday, Elon Musk, he has introduced his own version of Wikipedia, which is known as Grokopedia. So ultimately, if you see, they all are deals with data, our data. They are using our data to refine their own system. But what about the security, privacy, secrecy of our data? Suppose, for example, as academic students, probably you are in research. If you are supposed to writing a paper, okay. If you are writing a paper, you want to see that all the grammars, everything is correct or not. If you are uploading this to the ChatGPT and mentioning that you check the grammar, you refine, you make it more clear, you check about this. So like that you have given certain particular instructions. Fine. Then what will happen? ChatGPT, it will give you certain refined version. But what about the ownership of that? What you have uploaded? Right now, are you the owner? Once you are uploading, that means already you have given up your ownership. Now, using this particular data, the company, they can do anything. You doesn't have any say. You can't restrict them. What is the best example for that? This is the best example. I don't know how many of you have used Google in the earlier days. In the left hand side, this is when we started using Google. It was a very clean interface, nothing was there, only one particular part. There we are giving our instructions, and in a clean interface, it was just showing us the particular search results. But nowadays, anything you search in Google, you will find it like that. There are so many different kind of sponsored results, certain advertisement products. You will find hardly 4 to 5 particular relevant data, then again 1, 2, 3, 4, like that, so many different pages are there. So ultimately why? Because it's about personalization and profiling. Profiling of that particular users. And it's a targeted profiling. So that's the reason why we are introducing this particular slides. It's not about data theft, data breaches, it's about data abuse. They are abusing your particular data which you voluntarily upload there. You voluntarily upload and then you are forgetting about your own privacy. So that is why those particular big companies, they are dealing with your data, they are making profit from your data, and at the end they are selling those particular data to you only. As it is mainly a awareness kind of a thing, so I'm not going details, but just 2-3 slides about awareness. What normally we have to do, as deepfakes is a very important concern nowadays. Probably you might have heard about deepfakes. I don't know if you have physically see the clips what deepfake can generate. You have seen in the movies there are VFX are there. Okay, so deepfake is far more dangerous than those particular VFX. So if deepfakes happen, then what exactly you are going to do? So you have to understand about that. You have to take control because nobody else is going to save you. It's your data, it's your device, it's your rules. So you have to make it like that. You have to take control of your entire scenarios. Again, digital payments. So there are very frequent exchange of QR codes and all those. So we have to be very cautious about that. Then about OTPs. How exactly we are going to share those particular OTPs? Because nowadays, as per policy, they have introduced that OTP should be there. This is part of multi-factor authentication, MFA. In fact, for a courier service also, you have given something in Amazon. The courier person came, wants to deliver, he has given you a call. So just now, if you receive a call that one OTP has come, okay, I am a courier person from Amazon and OTP has come, please share the OTP. What you are going to do? How will you ensure that that particular person already in front of your door? Or already this OTP, whether it is related to that particular Amazon or not from something else. like the way we are guarding our house, the same way we have to do. We have to take control of our own device. At the hand, NIT, DSCI, Government of India, they are only the policy decision. For policy enforcement, the main responsibility comes to individual concern. As individual, we are connected to the virtual world, we have to take control of that particular scenario. Now again, have you ever thought of that whenever we are installing the apps, it is asking Bluetooth connectivity, it is asking permission to use your location, it is asking permission to use your camera, it is asking permission to use your other particular sensors. Why? Why I should give permission? Because in certain cases the application not at all relevant to that particular, but even though they are collecting those particular permissions. So that we have to be very much aware of. And finally, at least to rigorously follow this particular. It's not essential to everything inform to the social media. You have to understand what privacy means. And there are certain particular limit and we cannot cross this particular Lakshman Rekha. At the end, as awareness month is going on, from Government of India, they have the DSCI, Data Security Council of India, which is a NESCOM initiative. They have introduced a challenge. If you are interested, you go through their website. The deadline is 15th November. There are so many different challenges of their design challenges are there. Okay. If you are interested, you go through, you submit your challenge. You might be a winner of a huge prize. So I hope with this I might have ignited at least a small spark about the cyber hygiene, cyber security scenarios, the way we should think about the present reality. Thank you everyone. If you have any question, you can raise.
So, if you have any queries for sir? Because the rules and other things, whatever sir has discussed, if you have some queries, you can ask. So, I have a question actually to use this here. Supposed to be suppose, sir, because it's the everybody's suggestion for me to get at least some suggestion. Suppose in a present day, we can change laptop, we can change mobile in the shop. In that case, we want to change or laptop or mobile, old mobile or old laptop, we want to change the shop. The data which we have uploaded into the data which we have there in our laptop or mobile is not being permanently deleted there. It's just disconnected with the file when we delete it. Then in that case, how to save the data so that the buyer will not restore our own data set?
This is a very valid concern. Nowadays there are so many different schemes there. If you go to Amazon, if you go to Flipkart, you will find that you can do exchange. Okay, you can exchange your old mobile, you can exchange your old laptops, and you are going to get an exchange amount of around 10,000, 20,000, something like that. The thing is that whether you want to exchange it or not. Yes, there is a very valid point that already you have so many data, private data, personal data in your devices. Okay. If you do factory reset, it's simply kind of an eyewash. There are so many different kind of softwares available by which you can restore those particular data. In practical, if you see about the ideal scenario, only data will be removed if you physically flash the memory device. There is no other measures available by which data can be reached. Because all the logical software approach, data can be regenerated. It can be retrieved. So it's again depending on the individual concerns. So you have to judge yourself that whether you are going for this exchange or not. Because if you simply see about data retrieval, it can easily be done. There is no point you can talk about retrieving of your data, even though you have permanently deleted, even though you have done factory reset, data will be there in your hard disk. Because as we are following the logic in computer science, if we delete the data, it is simply putting a hash in the inode table of that. So entire data is simply residing in there. Only the link we are removing. So there are specialized softwares out there which can retrieve those particular links and it can take back your data. So again, it's own wisdom. What I hope I make myself clear.
Anyone else? Okay. If there is no further queries, then we'll end this session here. And I, on behalf of the department and as well as university, would like to thank Nirmalya sir for accepting our invitation in a short span of time. Frankly speaking, we have called him yesterday at around 12 p.m. or something like that. Along with our HOD sir has called him and he readily agreed to come over here and share his experience with all the students. I hope the presentation and the session was very helpful, and as sir mentioned that it might ignite the concept in this particular theme of the program. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for your time and for your consideration. Thank you, sir. And I will be requesting to all of you to spare another 30 minutes because we have our next speaker or resource person with us, Dr. Mambi Devi Madam.
Thank you everyone.